Noli is a pretty flawless killer. Good speed, good windup, great abilities. As a level 340 plus Noli ain't so weak as we think. Noli has two thoughts. What about Noli? But this tier list sucks. Like Noli and C.
So originally, I was gonna make a video on Guess 137 because I feel like he's been misunderstood in the Forsaken community and that things can be clearly cleared up. But the amount of comments I got talking about how Noli can be a good killer is actually so crazy, and it pissed me off so much that I had to make a video about why Noli is such an ass killer in the first place. Now, I did wipe the server in the background footage, but this isn't because Noli is a good killer or I'm some hidden goat. It's because the people didn't play properly. And I feel like people don't understand this and think that just because they can kill some random people in a public server means the killer is good. Because by this metric, we can say that Slasher is the best killer in the game. So how am I going to show that Noli is the biggest fraud in Forsaken? Well, I'm going to show you examples of why Noli is bad, gameplay proving that Noli is bad, and disproving counter arguments that people often give me when talking about how Noli is somehow a good fucking killer. Now we're gonna do this on a move by move basis, starting off with the passives, and the first one we got is... So the Prankster passive serves the purpose of letting Noli teleport. Honestly, I don't have that much of a problem with the Prankster passive, but there are a few issues with it that make the passive almost kind of useless. For starters, the fake generators make this loud ass sound that makes it so obvious to tell when it's fake. Not only that, but you can just do one wire and then look at the XP, and if the text is off, you can just keep on cranking that gen and you'll be perfectly fine. I think forcing people to analyze the wires is the best way to make the Prankster passive work when it comes to the generators fooling people, because it requires you to invest time looking into the generator to waste time and doesn't make it instantly tellable from just one wire or like one XP notification that you can do. Not to mention, in private servers, the XP pop-up shows up no matter what for fake gens, so it's insanely easy to tell fake gens almost kind of useless. Not to mention, the amount of generators you get is set to 7 max, 3 extra generators. So this means that sometimes you can just not get a very important generator due to RNG. Like on Brandon Works, getting the castle generator is very important against good players, but sometimes it's completely down to RNG if you'll get that generator or not. So it can just completely screw you over, and it's not fair in the Slash of the Noli to have something happen that's out of their control. But honestly, I think the Prankster passive itself is fine. Most of the issues I have with it are the Observant move itself and not the Prankster passive. So, very solid passive. But what makes Noli so bad? Before we go into Hallucinate, I do want to say that I would appreciate if you subscribed and joined my Discord server, because I put a lot of effort into these videos, and if you're 3 minutes into me ranting about Noli, you might be interested in the video. So, join up please. Hallucinations has to be one of the most dog shit passives I've ever seen in my life. It completely doesn't work as soon as you know what the killer is, and it completely ruins Noli's identity as an ambush killer, which people complain that, oh, Noli's a good ambush. No, he's not, and this passive proves why he's not a good ambush killer. Let's look at all the ways you can disprove what if a Noli is real or not, or if any other hallucination has spawned in. 1. If an object is placed or thrown near me as soon as a terror radius layer plays, it's a clone. If I'm hit by an M1 and I see a giant fucking face laughing at me, it's not a clone and it's real. If my face does not change when being hit, it's a clone. If my actions are not interrupted when being hit, it's a clone. If the Noli's Void Star does not disappear / properly play at all, it's a clone. If the Noli's M1s do not play any audio, it's a clone. Why is there so many tells to know if it's a clone? You can tell it's a clone just by the movement. It doesn't work at all, and it never did work. Okay, now that I'm done complaining about the Hallucinations passive, I'm gonna go talk about Noli's abilities. Now, for the rest of this video, I am gonna dodge Noli's M1, as I don't think Noli's M1 is that bad. It's an M1, it works, I don't really care. But what really gets me is every other ability, so we're gonna talk about the big bad ability. Void Rush, Void Rush, Void Rush. Oh, how you are the most overrated move of all time! The amount of times I see people say that Void Rush is better than Demonic Pursuit or Walk Speed Override or any other dash move that's like ever come to exist in the entirety of ASIMs is actually crazy. Void Rush is not a good move, and I'm going to give you exact reasons as to why it's not good and it never was good in the first place. For starters, the reward for hitting Void Rush is actually so bad. You do like 45, 43 damage. I don't know the exact amounts right now, but you do damage when you hit Void Rush, and you do more damage when you chain it. But the chain multiplier is so weak that it's not even worth it chaining with Void Rush, and it's more worth it to just directly hit your target, because you risk so much by completely canceling out your Void Rush and miss out on the slam, which is the most important part of Void Rush, by going for a chain. But, oh, it's a cool clip, and you do damage. 10 damage per survivor is not good in a game where you can heal so much HP. It's not. Why are we pretending like it's good? It's only worth it if you land the slam, but there's so much to risk when you go for Void Rush and not enough reward. Not to mention, the rebound on Void Rush is actually so bad. Yes, you get to Sprint Rush, but by the time you're re-rushing, the survivor has already cut a corner and is hiding behind a wall. There is no reason for a re-rush to be this hard to hit, and it just makes him absolutely trash because you can't capitalize off of the Void Rush rebound because of how slow and sluggish it is to hit a re-rush. Because look at this, you're re-rushing right. Not only can Guess cancel your re-rush, Taff can cancel your re-rush, or N7 can place a clone to fuck up your re-rush, but you have to make sure that you're hitting it perfectly. You have to decide whether you want to sprint rush or not sprint rush. And while that is a part of the skill gap of Noli, it just shows how much you have to put in for a mid-ass value that you can probably get rid of anyways. Void Rush is generally just one of the most counterable moves in the game, and not to mention, when you cancel Void Rush, you're slowed down to such a bad crawl that you might as well just not use Void Rush at all at this point. Because what do you mean? You slow down so badly, the survivor can just sprint while you're canceling Void Rush and be perfectly fine. What's the point of it being a chase catch-up tool if it's so slow when you cancel it that you can just run away? Nova, 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 Nova. How slow you are. Now, granted, I don't think Nova is a bad move on paper, but the issue with Nova is that it's so slow you barely capitalize off of the move. Because by the time you're throwing the star, a survivor can book it around the corner, and even if they still get hit by Nova, they still will be pulled into the wall, so they can just keep themselves perfectly fine. There's a reason why a move like Entanglement that goes through walls and pulls is good, but a move like Nova, which doesn't go through walls but pulls, is bad. It's because it can't go through walls, which is why Corrupt Nature is better than Nova. The explosion radius is honestly not even that crazy. It's very dodgeable too, and you can manipulate where you're going with the explosion to make sure that you have the best way to dodge Noli in the first place. Not to mention, this move has no synergy with Void Rush at all. The only thing you can do out of Nova is M1. What are you gonna do? You can't Void Rush and Nova. What are you doing? You can't do that because there's too much end lag for the damn moves. The only thing you can do is M1 after Void Rush. And we can't act like the damage is too crazy because you can just heal it all in the first place. And you can't rush down because of how slow Noli is as a character.
Never mind, I don't want to play it anymore.
Honestly, I don't mind Observant that much as the other moves. But there's one thing to make clear. With Hallucinations being a bad passive, Prankster being RNG reliant, Void Rush being a bad move, it does not make Observant plus Void Rush good at all. It actually makes it one of the worst strategies ever. Because when you Observant plus Void Rush, you're completely begging on the fact that your survivors that you're playing against are the most stupidest pieces of shit ever to play against. Like, genuinely, Observant plus Void Rush is not good. Being an ambusher is not good. I'm tired of people saying, oh, but once you realize that Noli's an ambusher, he's somehow good. No, he's not. You can position yourself in a way that makes it so that even if you don't know where the Noli teleported to, with a loud ass and big ass lightning that you can see, you can still have yourself in a way where you can tell where the Noli is coming from, and then just like reposition once Noli runs towards you. And then when you cancel Void Rush, because canceling Void Rush is so slow, Survivor just sprints out of there and they're perfectly fine. Literally, Observant plus Void Rush, bad, doesn't do anything. But I think that using Observant to teleport is honestly a really good move, and I think if you buff it a bit too much, it'll be overpowered. So my issues only lie with Void Rush and Nova.